Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.
Alchemist up here. Good, good, good. So, how is everyone doing? This is Tracey Brown coming to you today to read the book The Alchemist. The Alchemist. And we should be on page 78. It's around page 78, could be 77, I'm not really sure. But how is everyone doing today? Before we get this party started, and that I mean reading the book, I have the worst sun breakout rash ever. I think I know why it's happening. I think. I don't know. So, could I be allergic to turkey? I brought turkey meat for the first time to make some sloppy joe, and it was really good. But I think I just had it too many days in a row. Could that be the problem? Or is it the way I set up my house? I sit next to the sun, and maybe the sun is cooking me, and this is a sun rash? I have no idea. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Musings by Monifa. Good health. Hi, Concrete Rose. Great. Good morning and great health to all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So today I'm in my back room, right? With the air conditioner. I have an air conditioner in the front room too, but it's a portable air conditioner and it doesn't emit what I need because the room's bigger in the front room. But in the back room, small, it's contained. So I have another air conditioner back here. So I am a prisoner of my back room probably for the next few weeks. I'm in hurricane season. And hurricane season is a real bitch, guys. It's a bitch. And it's not even hurricane. Like, the winds are not here, but the hurricane system is here. And what the hurricane system does is it traps the heat. So you'll get whipping winds and rain, but it always passes. And when it passes, you're hotter than before. And it becomes not necessarily sticky because we don't have that type of humidity, but we do get humidity, but not that tight. But because the system traps the heat, that when the wind and rain passes, what drops down is immense. It's like flat heat. Like it's just different, right? And which makes you like say, what the hell is going on here in the Caribbean? But in any case, I chose this place consciously. I chose this place. Nobody forced me here. I chose this place consciously. And it's a small window, by the way. Technically, hurricane season begins in June, ends in September, the 1st of October. We had no weather vanes for a hurricane in June, July, or August. Nothing. And September is making up for everything that they didn't give us because there's a hurricane or a system coming from Africa back to back. And somehow or another, can somebody please explain to me, I'm not a weatherologist, if that's a word, how is California getting hurricanes? Is that normal? Why is California, like they are on hurricane watch right now? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Let me see. Does California get hurricanes. Not that I don't believe they do. I believe it's rare. Okay, I just checked it up and it says history shows that it's incredibly rare for a hurricane to get close to California, and yet they have one this weekend. Oh my God. California is usually protected from direct hits by hurricane and tropical storms because the warm ocean water that these storms feed off of drop off dramatically north or south tip of the Baja California. Got it. Oh, interesting. So it's called Tropical Storm K that should be hitting today. Oh well, that's climate change, huh? And then I read South Korea is getting pummeled with flooding because of a storm that came through. I don't know what type of storm, but a storm monsoon, I believe, came through, and they are getting pummeled. So weird what's happening around the world. Be safe, everyone. Be safe. I mean, what's going on with climate change is no different than COVID, right? We don't know who's going to get hit with a bad weather system, right? We don't know why, right? A hurricane could hit California, and it's very, very rare. I've never heard it the whole time I was there. I was like there for 30 years. Um, Weird, very weird. All right. Be safe, Callie. All right. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me, guys. So sorry. So the Queen died. I thought I'd mention that again in case somebody didn't know it on my feed. The Queen died. And we have a new king. Not we. I am not from the UK. They have a new king. King Charles III. And he gave his love and support to Harry and Meghan. I don't know, guys. Do you feel like he was forced to say that? Do you feel like in order for him to reign well, that he would have to be the one to say, I give my love to Meghan and Harry? Remember, one of the two, either Charles or William, said something about being afraid that Archie would be born chocolate. One of the two said it. You felt it too, Nikki, right? Right? I felt it. I was like, oh, there you go. That's fair for you. That's black power for you, child. Talking about Prince Charles, right? Um, and I've been doing a lot of IG studying. That's my new education system, IG. I'm so sorry to say that IG educates me wonderfully. Um, and I'm learning so much about the history, the deplorable history that has gone on um, in the UK with the monarch, with Africa, with India, with Fiji, with the Caribbean islands. I mean, it's bullshit. I mean, listen to me. I don't know if you've ever been to the other Caribbean islands. I have. They're poor as shit. And that queen brings in anywhere between 500 million and 600 billion. And not only that, let me tell you something else. Not only that, these territories that they claim are independent, they're not. They're not. There's a trick to the system of being independent, right? So if you want to be independent, go ahead. But it also means you can't travel and live in the other territories freely. So there's a trick to all of that. And then for a country to claim to be independent, right, but has to participate in the Commonwealth, all the money that the country gets, they have to give to the Queen. Because there's a price to be in the Commonwealth. So they're like, hey, of course you can have your independence. Pay me rent. And you can be free as a bird. But you get a very specific passport when you belong to the Commonwealth. I mean, it's crazy. Let me see. I texted to somebody. I mean, I'm learning so much through, oh, good morning. I'm learning so much through, let me see, who did I send it to? Through the education of IG. IG is educating the fuck out of me. And by the way, there's some sneaky shit that happened. Something sneaky happened. Most people, let me see if I can figure this out, because it gets a little crazy. It looks like most, I gotta figure this out. Most territories just got their so-called independence. Maybe I'm using the wrong word, but something just happened this year, and that's Australia, New Zealand, Jamaica, the Bahamas, Grenada, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Tuvalu, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Belize, Antigua, Barbuda, I don't even know Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis. Like, they just got something that released them from the Queen, but not from the Commonwealth. This is dated 2022. There's some bullshit going on here. And people need to wake up to that. And I noticed the one country that is not on this list is Barbados. Because they were the only ones that said, we're out completely. We don't want you. We're tired. So they're not on this list. But this list has everything to do with, hey, of course you're independent. Pay us $3 million a year for the Commonwealth. I mean, it's bullshit. Why is Canada not here? Let me see. There are other countries. Hold on a second. So, maybe I'm not educated enough. Canada, I don't see Canada here. All right. And then other territories that they had, I don't know if I'm missing anything beyond this, is Pakistan, South Africa, Ceylon, Ghana, Nigeria. Oh my God, just terrible. They own half the goddamn world, these people. Jesus Christ. Have you guys seen all the memes? Memes? We are mercifulness. We are mean as hell because those memes are hilarious. They're hilarious. I don't care. I love the memes. They are hilarious. Let me just see something. Okay. They are hilarious. All right. Definitely. Right, Nikki? Oh, hi, Miss NetNet. Oh, good morning. Yes, good morning. Lisa D, good morning. You have an amazing Saturday, too. Nikki says, hi, family. Oh, happy birthday, Nikki. Did I miss something? Good morning. Today's my birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nikki. Happy birthday to you and many more. Happy birthday to you and many more. Happy birthday to you and many more. Listen, the only part I like about the happy birthday song is many more. I think that needs to be added behind every song. It's the many more that matters. Sophia says happy birthday. Oh yes, Lisa D, Black Twitter and Irish Twitter, which apparently there's a thing called Irish Twitter, joined forces and clobbered the Queen. Irish Twitter was hilarious. Hilarious. My God. Oh my God. Even somebody sent me one just now. Oh my God. And she goes, it goes, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Aaliyah, Left Eye, all watching Princess Diana black out on Queen Elizabeth. And all you do is hear screams. I think that's hilarious. We have not been kind to the Queen at all. Not at all. So, God rest the Queen, or something like that. And God bless the monarch, because what's about to go down, seriously, Charles can't save the monarch. So let's do all the pomp and circumstances. Let's bury the Queen. Let's give. Let's get what's his name, coronated, and let the fighting begin. Oh, by the way, there's supposed to be some protests um, today. Did it get canceled? Does anybody know if the protest got canceled? Because I'm telling you, I always believe that the announcement of the Queen had everything to do with this protest. Let me see, are they protest cost? I'm not seeing anything. Okay, protests in London today live. Let's see. as the nation warns, we still need to keep each other safe. Right. Looks like the protest is still going on, I guess. The road shown on the map in purple now closed. All right. All right. Well, I can guarantee. Do you hear me? Guarantee that Prince Charles is not going to be safe. And have the same respect. I think most people were born under the Queen, into the Queen, and they've watched Charles literally grow up, and Charles has not been the best example. Oh no. Doop, doop. All right. Let's get this party started. Oh, I'm all confused. So my co-star, call her co-star, Melissa, is meeting new family members. Her brother is getting engaged, and she's meeting new family members. And so she won't be with us today. So let's all wish Melissa safe travels and have fun with her new sister-in-law. All right? And she's meeting the new sister, but she's not married yet, but the fiance's family. So that's really cool. Hold on. All right. So with that being said, I will be the reader today, and you will love it. I demand that you love it. And Nikki says, no, he hasn't, and he knows it, meaning he will not get the respect, and he knows it, which is why his speech yesterday was like, we love you, Megan. I was tickled black. I was like, oh, there you go. That changed quickly. And Sophia says the people of England can't stand him because you're so right. They cannot get over the way he treated Diana. We can't get over it, and we're Americans, and we're like, You know, when you ain't got words for somebody and you just grunt, it's bad. It's very bad. So for right now, the people have a mixture of mourning and sorrow, and then there's protesting, and then there's Charles. Oh my God. Sit back, everyone, because this is going to be a ride. Just a fucking ride. All right. Let me get this party started. I've got bumps all over my... I just hate my life. I hate my life right now. And you should see me, guys. I'm like laden down with Benadryl cream, and then I put powder on top of the cream. Save me, God, from the sun. I just want to be invisible to her. I love her, but I just don't want her to notice me. Can we do that, son? Oh my God. All right. Sophia's speaking the truth. Yes. Yes, she is. All right, let's just see. The Queen died September 8th. Let's see what this all looks like starting October 8th. But here's the thing. You want to know what the real mistake was? The Queen dying during Mercury retrograde. That did not save them. That announcement did not save them. You know, I feel like they were like, you gotta announce it before the retrograde. Well, there's a shadow period, and the shadow periods are worse than Mercury retrograde. So the shadow period is the week prior, and the Queen died in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is not a good thing. Yeah, I did notice that Cheetah. I feel like he's aged just in the past couple of days. Did you notice that? I'm like, Charles? Like, oh, maybe he didn't age. Maybe they groomed him. They might have put silver dye in his hair. And he looks like he got a little bit of color. Like, he looks redder than normal. And his hair is whiter than I've seen it. But maybe, again, it's not the leader. I don't know. He looks stressed out. I don't know. I am not the leader of this man. I don't watch him enough. Like, if it were Biden, I would be like, oh my God, Biden, what happened to you, right? I could do that with Biden, which I have done. That man has aged since being in office. Lord have mercy. But he looks like he's aged since his mama died. But I think what happened is that he got immediately groomed. His hair looks particularly silverish, right? It looks bright silver. And I think the bright silver here, which he might be allergic to the dye because his face is red. It's red. This man is white. Why is his face red unless he's allergic to the dye? In any case, whatever's happening, he absolutely does look older. Interesting, right? Very interesting. Weird. It's weird and I'm uncomfortable. Is anybody else uncomfortable? Like, is it kind of like, are we all waiting for something wicked to happen? Are you waiting for something? I don't know. I feel like it's like, oh, okay. I feel like I'm just going to sit back and wait patiently. You know, my group did a group reading on the monarch. And we came up with some interesting stuff. Very, very interesting. It's private, so we're going to keep it private at this point because the things that we discovered, we all did tarot card readings on the monarch. And the things that we discovered was uncomfortable. We're like, whoa, this is, nobody's going to be safe. It's weird. All right. Hold on a second, guys. I need to put some water on my face. And then I need to spritz it. Right now. I've got this 24 karat gold serum. So I'm going to put some of that on my face. Protect my face somehow from whatever is happening from the sun trying to attack me on a daily basis. Come on, sun, work with me. I love you, sun, work with me. All right, just want to put some serum on my face to take care. Oh, it feels better and it looks better now. Oh, wow. Thank you. All righty now, let's get this party started. All right, and let's talk. Let's talk. Serum up. I think we're on page, let's see, 4 more comments. Let's see what everybody's saying. He's stressed out. Tell me about it. Yes. He's happy mama died. know. That is actually one of the things that I saw. I will tell you this much. I saw 3 people being happy um, that Mama died. He was one, and William and Kate was the other one. And that was shocking to me. Like, seriously celebrating. And I was like, oh, I'm so uncomfortable. Um, he's been waiting for it to happen for so long. Actually, I thought he was going to die before her. She just was not dying. And I mean that in a very practical way. She was not dying. She didn't have to die. There was a song that they have, Long Live the Queen, right? Words have power, people. Words have power. Words are like magic. We talk about this a lot. I don't know if you guys are listening to me. That's why I tell you guys to write things down and this, that, and the third. Every country and every territory sang a song about Long Live the Queen. She almost couldn't die. Seriously. She almost had the answer to that elixir. What is that? What did we call it? The philosophy stone? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's God Save the Queen? It's not Long Live the Queen? There's something where it's like God Long Live the Queen. No? Long Live the Queen. Okay, that's my ignorance. That's my ignorance on politics and culture. There's nothing about Long Live the Queen, Long Live the Queen song. Well, no. There's a Frank Turner song that says Long Live the Queen. Oh, interesting. So it saved the Queen. Okay, sorry. I learned. I learned. All right, let me just fix this too. Long Live the Queen. Ah, God Save the Queen. So, do we change it now to God Save the King? Are people really going to want to say that with Charles? All right. I'm just being mean, guys. One of my favorite positions is to be mean, by the way. It's what I love to. It's a position. All right. All right. So, let's get this party started. We're on page 78, right? And let me see. We might be on 77. So, oh, I did mark it. Yay, I marked it. So we're at the bottom of 77. And remember, the boy is on a caravan of camels. Can you imagine days and days of being on a caravan with camels? Oh my God. In the desert? Oh my God. So, we're on page 77 at the bottom, and it says, but all this happened for a reason. Where's my thing heating up? It's very scary. Oh yeah, there's many similarities, by the way, Nikki, between America and Britain, like the red, white, and blue. They have the same colors. Very, very similar similarities. When they separated, what we got, okay, remember that when we separated, we weren't American. The Brits had come over, and then there came the Civil War to separate. So all they knew was Brit culture. Do you see what I mean? They weren't Americans. Does that make sense? Was that the Civil War? Or the... All right, I'm too tired now. But do you know what I mean? So when they separated, they knew what they knew. Oh, thank you, Musings. It's not a song, it's a proclamation. When a new king takes the throne, they say, "Long live the king." Thank you. I know it was something, Musings. Thank you. I thought they said it for the queen. Long live the queen. And they have to say this proclamation because the words matter. So they make people help her live as long as possible. And in their minds, it's forever. And she almost made it to forever, child. 90 something years old is damn near forever. Thank you for that. I knew it. I was like, but where the hell did I hear "Long live the queen"? Thank you. All right. But do you understand what I mean? Like, British culture was here in America. So, creating a song is very similar. Well, that's all they knew. And the bases of the color, they weren't even smart enough to choose different colors. It's just the weirdest shit ever. You know? All right. We good? He said it for the queen, too. Exactly. And I'm telling you, Musings, it worked. Words are magic. It worked. Now, whether or not they're gonna get everyone to say it with such passion for King Charles, I don't know. I don't know. They would say it with passion for William. I don't know about King Charles. They might say it, but it may not be with the same love and fervor as they gave the queen. All right now, I think we're ready. Hello, sweetie. All right now. The British came over to stop slavery here in America. That's what that was about. That is bullshit. That is hella bullshit. Nope. Nope. Don't believe that. The British came over to take this land. Period. When you hear the history of how they took on slaves, don't believe for a minute they were trying to do us a favor. Nope. Nope. That's bullshit. Yep. I believe that might have been, let's go save the slaves. Okay. Mm-hmm. Their purpose was to conquer this land. The queen has all the land in the world, all of it. Now that makes more sense, yeah. Child, please, they didn't come over to save us. Fuck them. All the shit I'm hearing that they did with slaves over there, nope. Nope. Yeah, they just wanted to conquer everything. Yep. All right. All right. Oh. All right, guys, let's get this party started. Page 76. Again, he's on his caravan and he's learning some things in a caravan. That's interesting. But all this happened for one basic reason. We're at the bottom of 77. But all this happened for one basic reason. No matter how many detours and adjustments it made, the caravan moved toward the same compass point. I remember this part last week because I stopped to talk about compass magic. Once obstacles were overcome, it returned to its course, sighting on a star that indicated the location of the oasis. When the people saw that star shining in the morning sky, they knew they were on the right course toward water, palm trees, shelter, and other people. It was only the Englishman who was unaware of all of this. For the most part, immersed in reading his books. The boy, too, had his books, and he tried to read it during the first few days of the journey. But he found it more interesting to observe the caravan and listen to the wind. As soon as he learned to know his camel better and to establish a relationship with him, he threw the book away. Although the boy had developed a superstition that each time he opened the book, he would learn something important, he decided it was an unnecessary burden. He became friendly with the camel driver who traveled alongside him. At night, as they sat around the fire, the boy related to the driver his adventures as a shepherd. During one of these conversations, he told the driver told of his own life. I used to live near El Karam, he said. I had my orchid, my children, and a life that would change not at all until I died. One year, when the crop was the best ever, we all went to Mecca. And I satisfied the only unmet obligation in my life. I could die happily, and that made me feel good. One day the earth began to tremble, and the Nile overflowed its banks. It was something that I thought could happen only to others, never to me. My neighbors feared they would lose all their olive trees in the flood. And my wife was afraid that we would lose our children. I thought that everything I owned would be destroyed. The land was ruined, and I had to find some other way to earn a living. So now, I'm a camel driver. But that disaster taught me to understand the word of Allah. People need not fear the unknown if they are capable of achieving what they need and want. We are afraid of losing what we have, whether it's our life or our possessions and property. But this fear evaporates when we understand that our life stories and the history of the world were written by the same hand. Sometimes their caravan met with another. One always had something that the other needed, as if everything were indeed written by one hand. As they sat around the fire, the camel driver exchanged information about windstorms and told stories about the desert. At other times, mysterious hooded men would appear. They were Baduns who did surveillance along the caravan route. They provided warnings about thieves and barbarian tribes. They came in silence and departed the same way, dressed in black garments that showed only their eyes. One night, a camel driver came to the fire where the Englishman and the boy were sitting. There were rumors of tribal wars, he told them. The three felt silent. The boy noted that there was a sense of fear in the air, even though no one said anything. Once again, he was experiencing the language without words, the universal language. The Englishman asked if they were in danger. Once you get into the desert, there's no going back, said the camel driver. And when you can't go back, you have to worry only about the best way of moving forward. The rest is up to Allah, including the danger. And he concluded by saying these mysterious words: Makta. You should pay more attention to the caravan, the boy said to the Englishman. After the camel driver had left, we make a lot of detours, but we're always heading for the same destination. And you ought to read more about the world, answered the Englishman. Books are like caravans in that respect. So I just wanted to point out something real quick. Because with everything that's going on, right, with climate change, that's one of the fears that I put in my spirit, right? I'm always like, who gets to survive a monsoon and who doesn't, right? Who gets to survive an earthquake and who doesn't? Who gets to survive floodings and who doesn't, right? And this helps, right? Maktab. When you can't go back, you have to worry only about the best way of moving forward. So, the rest is up to Allah, including the danger. So, if you find yourself in the middle of flooding, it is at that point you are in a close relationship with God. It's up to God whether or not you survive the danger. And yet, you still have to move forward. And I find that interesting. Because I think internally, that's what people have inside of us, which is the reason why I understand when people say Uvalde strong and other cities when we have terrorists that come through. Uvalde strong. Because you always have to find a way to move forward. The rest is up to Allah, including the danger. Back to the book. And you ought to read more about the world, answered the Englishman. Books are like caravans in that respect. The immense collection of people and animals began to travel fast. The days have always been silent, but now, even the nights when the travelers were accustomed to talking about the fires had also become quiet. And one day, the leader of the caravan made the decision that the fires should no longer be lighted so as not to attract attention to their caravan. The travelers adopted the practice of arranging the animals in a circle at night, sleeping together in the center as protection against the nocturnal cold, and the leader posted armed sentinels at the fringes of the group. The Englishman was unable to sleep one night. He called to the boy, and they took a walk along the dunes surrounding the encampment. It was a full moon, and the boy told the Englishman the story of his life. The Englishman was fascinated with that part about the progress achieved at the crystal shop after the boy began working there. That's the principle that governs all things, he said. In alchemy, it's called the soul of the world. When you want something with all your heart, that's when you are closest to the soul of the world. It's always a positive force. He also said that this was not just a human gift, that everything on the face of the earth had a soul, whether mineral, vegetable, or animal, or even just a simple thought. Everything on earth is being continuously transformed because the earth is alive and it has a soul. We are part of that soul. So we rarely recognize that it's working for us. But in a crystal shop, you probably realize that even the glasses were collaborating in your success. That's beautiful, huh, guys? Let's take a break there. I've never heard of the soul of the world. When you want something with all your heart, that's when you're closest to the soul of the world. It's always a positive force. Wow, now that's new learning for me. The soul of the world. You know, guys, the only thing I've ever wanted to do was psychic work. Seriously. It's the only thing I've ever wanted to do. And in the era where I was raised, that was probably the dumbest thing I could ask God. According to others, of course. Oh, here's my green stone. I knew I had a green stone, Lisa D. I could not find it yesterday. I knew I had it. And so I love that instinctually I followed my soul's desire. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew what would make me happy. And I decided that psychic tarot cards made me happy. And I decided to sit on that happiness, regardless how anybody else felt about it. My mother used to say, "Oh, Tracy, don't mess with that." And I used to say, "Mom, I'm fine." I knew convincing her would be the dumbest thing I could do, right? Because then we've got to fight. And I wasn't interested in fighting. I was only interested in doing psychic work. So wasting my breath wasn't going to be an option. It didn't make sense to me. I heard her. She wasn't happy. I understood that. And I continue on with what made me happy. And that's all that mattered. I just stuck with that. And I like me because I stuck with that. And today I learned it's called the soul of the world. When you want something with all your heart, that's when you're closest to the soul of the world. And it's always a positive force. That's beautiful. All right, guys, let me put my hair up. I can't find anything. Oh, here it is. I guess I'm going to put my hair up. Oh, child. Guys, when I start talking and feeling the system inside of me, I heat up, child. All right. Let me get some water here. Let me get a spray bottle. Hold on a second, guys. Let me get a spray bottle. Hold on a second. Be right back. I should play some music. Be right back. I'm back, guys. So sorry. I went to get some Pedialyte. I need some intermission music. All right. Let's begin again. Ooh, job. He also said that this was not just a human gift, that everything on the face of the earth had a soul, whether mineral, vegetable, or animal, or even a thought. Everything on earth is being constantly transformed because the earth is alive. It has a soul. So we rarely recognize that it's working for us. Let's start looking at that, everyone. But in a crystal shop, you probably realize that even the glasses were collaborating in your success. The boy thought about that for a while as he looked at the moon and the bleached sands. I have watched the caravan as it crossed the desert, he said. The caravan and the desert speak the same language. And it's for that reason the desert allows the crossing. Oh, wow. Do you guys understand that? Wow, that is something beautiful. And it's for that reason that the desert allows the crossing. It's going to test the caravans every step to see if it's in time, and if it is, it will make it to the oasis. If either of us has joined this caravan based only on personal courage, but without understanding that language, this journey would have been much more difficult. Oh, that's deep. Oh, wow. That's deep. Do you guys get that? Let me see if I can break that down a little bit, because I get that with people, right? So, the oasis, this caravan going through this desert, is symbolic of our lives, right? Our lives are one big desert, right? And we don't always understand why we're getting to the compass point, right? But we all have to get to a compass point. But how are we getting there? How are we navigating through the desert? If our lives are one big desert, then we make it and work with the desert in tandem. But if we take our lives for selfish reason, then the journey is difficult. Do you understand? If either of us had joined this caravan based on personal courage, but without the understanding that language, this journey would have been much more difficult. Let me go back. The boy thought about that for a while as he looked at the moon and the bleak sands. I have watched the caravan as it crossed the desert, he said. The caravan and the desert speak the same language. And it's for that reason that the desert allows the crossing. It's going to test the caravans every step to see if it's in time. And if it is, it will make it to the oasis. If either of us have joined this caravan based only on personal courage, but without the understanding of that language, with the desert in your life, this journey would have been much more difficult. They stood there looking at the moon. That's the magic of the omen, said the boy. I've seen how guides read the signs of the desert, and how the soul of the caravan speaks to the soul of the desert. The Englishman said, I better pay more attention to the caravan. And I better read more books, said the boy. You get it, Nikki? Right? That's deep. That's deep. If we turn around this moment in time in this book where they're just trying to cross a desert, but the desert is difficult. Aren't our lives difficult? Aren't we supposed to be in tandem with why we're here, born at this time, why we're here at this point in life, why we're the ones still living? The desert and the caravan became one. And you have to respect, because the desert's going to test you, right? Doesn't life test us? Right? And do we get to pass the test? But if we do it for personal reasons, we will make our lives more difficult, right? So it's kind of a good example of that. And I don't really care who participated in this. It's just a really good example. But a good example of that is the PPP loans, right? Whether you're a corporation like Harvard or an individual, when these loans came available, people were like, mine, mine, give me mine. I deserve mine. And so many people are in trouble or exposed because they took the PPP loans. And so, was that a test? And if you didn't pass the test, then you have made your life just that more difficult because you still are on compass to somewhere. Where it ends, every compass is different for every person. But if we are one with the earth, and the earth has a soul, but we forget the earth has a soul because we take advantage of it very much in the way we take advantage of air. Air is expected until you have a disease that doesn't allow air to get in your body. That's when you can appreciate something different. But most of us just accept air for what it is. It's here. You're supposed to be here. We don't think to say thank you to the air. I don't miss the grass until the grass isn't here, until the sun burns the grass to a fiery pit. And then you're like, oh, I miss the grass. The grass was always there. How did I just miss it? If either of us has joined this caravan based on personal courage, but without understanding the language between you and Earth's soul, this journey would have been much more difficult. And what came out of this? That's the magic of the omens, said the boy. I've seen the guides read the signs of the desert and how the soul of the caravan speaks to the soul of the desert. You ever go to a place and just sit back? Remember earlier he said something about the universal language? Silence is a universal language. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on, guys. So 70. I'm not going to find it now. I meant to highlight it. But he said something about silence, and it's like silence is a universal language. Let me see. He goes, the three felt silent. That's when the men in black came. The boy noted that there was a sense of fear in the air, even though no one said anything. Once again, he was experiencing the language without words, the universal language. And then back on 82, they stood there looking at the moon. That's the magic of the omens, says the boy. I've seen how the guides read the signs of the desert and how the soul of the caravan speaks to the soul of the desert. And you can only read those signs if you're quiet. Let your ears open, see better with your eyes, observe more. Then the Englishman said, I better pay more attention to the caravans. And then the boy said, and I better read more books. So look at that exchange of information the two had given each other. Even that was a test. If the boy had been the same boy we met in the beginning of the book, he would not be getting such an amazing ability to grow and to acknowledge, for the Englishman to acknowledge how amazing he was in that crystal store. And for the boy to realize that he threw away a book and now he's like, okay, I better read more books. I love how this kid is growing. I love it. I'm drinking Pedialyte, guys. Oh, ciao. All right, page 82. They were strange books. They spoke about Mercury, salt, dragons, and kings, and he didn't understand any of it. But there was one idea that seemed to repeat itself throughout all the books. All things are the manifestation of one thing only. In one of the books, he learned that the most important text in the literature of alchemy contains only a few lines and had been inscribed on the surface of an emerald. It's the emerald tablet, said the Englishman, proud that he might teach something to the boy. Well then, why do we need all these books, the boy asked. So that we can understand those few lines, the Englishman answered, without appearing really to believe what he had said. The book that most interested the boy told the stories of the famous alchemists. They were men who had dedicated their entire lives to the purification of metals in their laboratories. They believed that if a metal were heated for many years, it would free itself of all its individual properties, and what was left would be the soul of the world. This soul of the world allowed them to understand anything on the face of the earth, because it was the language with which all things communicated. They called that discovery the masterwork. It was part liquid and part solid. Can't you observe men and omens in order to understand the language? Can't you just observe men and omens in order to understand the language, the boy said? The boy asked. You have a mania for simplifying everything, answered the Englishman, irritated. Alchemy is a serious discipline. Every step has to be followed exactly as it was followed by the masters. The boy learned that the liquid part of the masterwork was called the elixir of life, and that it cured all illnesses. It also kept the alchemists from growing old. And the solid part was called the philosopher's stone. Now I get it. It's not easy to find the philosopher's stone, said the Englishman. The alchemists spent years in their laboratory, observing the fire that purified the metals. They spent so much time close to the fire that gradually they gave up the vanities of the world. They discovered that the purification of the metals had led to the purification of themselves. The boy thought about the crystal merchant. He had said that it was a good thing for the boy to clean the crystal pieces so that he could free himself from negative thoughts. The boy was becoming more and more convinced that alchemy could be learned in one's daily life. Huh. That makes a little sense, right? Remember you were growing up and I have a little grandson. He said, I just want to be grown. I just want to be grown. But he doesn't realize he's going to miss out on amazing things by always just wanting that wish. So I'm always convincing him to just enjoy the year that he's in. 7 is a good year. 8 is a good year. So he says here, the boy thought about the crystal merchant. He had said that it was a good thing for the boy to clean the crystal pieces so that he could free himself from negative thoughts. The boy was becoming more and more convinced that alchemy could be learned in one's daily life. Let me go back a little bit, guys. The boy learned that I'm on page 83. The boy learned that the liquid part of the master work was called the elixir of life, and that it cured all illnesses. It also kept the alchemist from growing old. And the solid part was called the philosopher's stone. It's not easy to find the philosopher's stone, said the Englishman. The alchemists spent years in their laboratory observing the fire that purified the metals. They spent so much time close to the fire that gradually they gave up the vanities of the world. They discovered that the purification of the metals had led to a purification of themselves. The boy thought about the crystal merchant, and he had said that it was a good thing for the boy to clean the crystal pieces so that he could free himself from negative thoughts. The boy was becoming more and more convinced that alchemy could be learned in one's daily life. Also, said the Englishman, the philosopher's stone has a fascinating property. A small silver of the stone can transform large quantities of metal into gold. Having heard that, the boy became even more interested in alchemy. He thought that with some patience, he'll be able to transform everything into gold. He read the lives of various people who had succeeded in doing so. Helvetius, Elias, Fulcanelli, Geber. They were fascinating stories. Each of them lived out his personal legend to the end. They traveled and spoke with wise men, performed miracles for the incredulous, and owned the philosopher's stone and the elixir of life. And when the boy wanted to learn how to achieve the masterwork, he became completely lost. They were just drawings, coded instructions, and obscure texts. So what are we getting out of this, right? Can we turn anything in our own lives into gold? But does it have to look the way our perception of gold means to us, meaning wealth and power? Can someone have a simple life and that too be gold? Golden? Yeah. I don't think this book is talking about how to achieve the Philosopher's Stone or how to get the elixir of life. I don't believe that that's what this part of the book is saying. I think this part of the book is saying change your philosophy and look at life as if it is something to be drank and lived in and soaked up. And that keeps you useful. And that is gold. Am I making sense, guys? I'm a little loopy today from my sunstroke. Book is getting deep. Also, said the Englishman, the Philosopher's Stone has a fascinating property. A small silver of the stone can transform large quantities of metal into gold. Having heard that, the boy became more interested in alchemy. He thought that with some practice, he'll be able to transform everything into gold. He read the lives of various people who had succeeded in doing so: Helvetius, Elias, Foncanelli, Geber. They were fascinating stories. Each of them lived out their personal legend to the end. They traveled, spoke with wise men, performed miracles for the incredulous, and owned the Philosopher's Stone and the elixir of life. But when the boy wanted to learn how to achieve the masterwork, he became completely lost. They were just drawings and coded instructions and obscure texts. Why do they make things so complicated? He asked the Englishman one night. The boy had noticed that the Englishman was irritable and missed his books. So that those who have the responsibility for understanding can understand, he said. Imagine if everyone went around transforming lead into gold. Gold would lose its value. It's only for those who are persistent and willing to study these things deeply who achieve the masterwork. That's why I'm here in the middle of the desert. I'm seeking a true alchemist who can help me to decipher the code. Ooh, child. You know, when Jesus talked in parables, he didn't care who understood him. He would give a parable, and then he would stop and look at everybody. And when Jesus gave a parable, people were like, I don't get it. What is he saying? And probably got annoyed with him. But it didn't matter to Jesus because he knew if somebody was going to understand anything that he said, he would wait for that. He wasn't trying to change the masses. He was trying to enlighten the masses. And so he didn't want to keep hand feeding them. It was our job to understand what he was saying, why he was here. Why am I drawn to you? That was our job to figure out. Not his job to tell us over and over and over what the meanings of anything he had to say. I feel like this is the same thing with this elixir. So that those who have the responsibility for understanding can understand. Imagine if everyone went around transforming lead into gold. Gold would lose its value. Life would lose its value. So Jesus had many parables. Parable of the wise and the foolish builders. Parable of the prodigal son, which is probably the one that you know the best. Parable of the sower. Parable of the lost sheep. That's one of my favorites, the parable of the lost sheep. That's the one where the sheep goes missing and the farmer abandons 100 other sheep to go get the one. Because losing the one was just as important as having the 100. Parable of the unmerciful servant. Parable of the sheep and goats. Parable of the Pharisees and the tax collector. That's a good one. The Pharisees and the tax collector. Where the Pharisees heard Jesus say to the people, don't pay taxes. But Jesus never said that. Jesus said, what the people should do is follow the current letter of the law. I don't necessarily agree with taxes, but I do believe that if this is the letter today of the law, follow Caesar's law. I can post these parables in the link of the description if you guys want. All right. So he goes, why do they make things so complicated? And now I'm on page 85. So that those who have the responsibility for understanding can understand. He said, imagine if everyone went around turning lead into gold. Gold would lose its value. Life would lose its value. It's only those who are persistent and willing to study these things deeply who achieve the master work. That's why I'm here in the middle of the desert. I'm seeking a true alchemist who can help me to decipher the codes. And when were these books written, the boy asked. Many centuries ago. They didn't have printing press in those days, the boy argued. There was no way for everybody to know about the alchemy. Why did they use such a strange language with so many drawings? The Englishman didn't answer him directly. He said that's for the past few days he had been paying attention to how the caravan operated, that he hadn't learned anything new. The only thing he had noticed was that the talk of war was becoming more and more frequent. Then one day the boy returned the books to the Englishman. Did you learn anything? Said the Englishman, eager to hear what it might be. He needed someone to talk to, so as to avoid thinking about the possibility of war. I learned the world has a soul, and that whoever understands that soul can also understand the language of things. I learned that many alchemists realized their personal legend, and wound up discovering the soul of the world, the philosopher's stone, and the elixir of life. But above all, I learned that these things are all so simple that they could be written on the surface of an emerald. The Englishman was disappointed. The years of research, the magic symbols, the strange words, and the laboratory equipment, none of this had made an impression on the boy. His soul must be too primitive to understand those things, he thought. He took back his book. He took back his books and packed them away again in their bags. Go back to watching the caravan, he said. That didn't teach me anything either. The boy went back to contemplating the silence of the desert and the sand raised by the animals. And everyone has his or her own way of learning things, he said to himself. His way isn't the same as mine, nor mine as his. But we're both in search of our personal legends, and I respect him for that. So what happened there? Here are these two older gentlemen, younger men, are presumably talking. Then it looks like they're both educating each other, right? One says, I should look at the caravan more, because that's what the boy was observing. And the boy goes, I should read more, because they were exchanging information and getting along. And in the end, the boy returns the books, with the older person thinking, he's definitely going to learn something from this. But I have a theory about that. He's definitely going to learn something from this. He's going to learn something from these books. He's going to learn something from what I told him about the metal into gold and the elixir and the world has a soul. Like I'm educating him, right? But then there's a slip up where he says he needed to talk to someone. He needed someone to talk to so as to avoid thinking about the possibility of war. That was a slip up. Remember, he said in the beginning, right? We manifest things by way of not being selfish, right? I'm paraphrasing now. And all of a sudden, we understand that he was only talking to the boy because he needed someone to talk to so as to avoid thinking about the possibility of war. So he used the boy, the older man did, right? And he goes, did you learn anything? And the Englishman was eager to hear. And my theory is that this Englishman is going around educating people on the philosopher's stone and the masterwork and this, that, and the third, hoping to find decoders for the paperwork that he had, hoping to run into somebody. But again, in a weird kind of way, he was being selfish. He was not living in his personal legend. He was trying to find the gold. And the boy goes, I learned that the world has a soul. Isn't that what the Englishman taught him? And that whoever understands the soul can understand the language of things. Isn't that what the Englishman just told him? I learned that many alchemists realize their personal legend. And an alchemist isn't just the one in the lab. You're an alchemist. I'm an alchemist. I learned that many alchemists realized their personal legend. Many. And wound up discovering the soul of the world. Discovering the philosopher's stone. Discovering the elixir of life. But above all, I learned that these things are so simple that they could be written on the surface of an emerald. The Englishman was disappointed. The years of research, the magic symbols, the strange words, and the laboratory equipment, none of this made an impression on the boy. His soul, meaning the boy's soul, was much too primitive to understand those things, he thought. He took back his books and he packed them away again in their bags. Go back to your caravan. Go back to, no, he goes, go back to watching your caravan, as if to put him down. Go back to watching the caravan, he said. That didn't teach me anything. See what happened? Go back to watching the caravan, he said. That didn't teach me anything either. How? So they believe that I should go watch the caravan. The boy didn't say that's what he had to do. And he said, I will read books. The boy committed to reading books. But did the man really commit to watching the caravan and watching the signs and the omens between the animals in the desert? Because that takes a lot of discipline to do that. Reading a book is easy. But to sit in silence and observe your world around you, that's power. And he goes, go back to watching the caravan, he said. That didn't teach me anything either. The boy learned. The boy learned. You're right, Lottie. And the boy learned more than the man. And the boy is so advanced at this point. The boy went back to contemplating the silence of the desert and the sand raised by the animals. And everyone has his or her own way of learning things, he said to himself. His way isn't the same way as mine, nor mine as his. We're both in search of our personal legends, and I respect him for that. All right, guys, I am going to commit to stopping here because we're going to start a whole new paragraph. And I did realize that I felt lost trying to capture where we started off before. So I'm just going to stop here at 86 because I just think that's a profound thing. Well, Lottie, I think the boy is upset, but I also think the boy still learned something. So let the boy be upset with the old man. He didn't take anything from the boy, right? Because remember, in the end, what is the boy's conclusion? Excuse me, guys. The boy's conclusion is the boy went back to contemplating the silence of the desert, right? And the sand raised by the animals. And everyone has his or her own way of learning things, he said to himself. His way is the same way as mine, nor mine as his. But we're both in search of our personal legends, And I respect him for that. So even if the boy did get upset, again, we're looking at a little boy that has matured to the point where he could say, but I like the Englishman for trying to find his personal legend, as am I. So maybe at this point, maybe I'm not learning like him. Maybe I don't get it. But I know I'm trying to find my personal legend. And I know he's trying to find his personal legend. And I respect him for that. And I hope we all get to that personal legend. And that's me, Lottie, you, right? Soul Sister, Musings, right? By Monifa, Nikki, right? Connect Your Heart, Sophia, right? Magic Mermaid, Steven, right? We're all trying to find a personal legend, Cheetah's World, right? And we're all going to get there at the pace that we can handle. Nobody has to rush up, right? I teach psychic work all day. Excuse me, goddamn. I teach psychic work. Hold on. And nothing in it do I make everyone come to the table of the level that I am. I tell everyone, we've got to get ready. But one of the girls in the group never reads. And one day, I think it was last week or the week before, we were doing readings, and then she was like, I'll read. And I stayed quiet. And I was like, oh, all right, quick, go do your thing. And she went to read. And when she finished, I was like, because she sits in silence. And when she went to read on this topic that we were doing, I was like, girl, have you been sitting in silence but taking everything in? I was like, that was amazing. Because she was learning her way. For whatever reason, I did not judge it. She was quiet. That's her method. For whatever reason. I didn't even ask. But, and some talk. If there's a minute in that group, they're going to talk. And yet they both got to the same place. And that's understanding the cause. And that's beautiful. And that's what the Englishman is missing. But now that I'm going over this, the Englishman is giving education to others, hoping to find someone to decode all the paperwork. So I don't think the Englishman is truly finding his personal legend. I think he's in search of something. I don't think he's in search of his personal legend. He's way too inconsiderate and selfish and doesn't understand what the boy's purpose was in his life. We meet people for a season or a reason. He missed the reason. Right? They were paired up. Right? They were talking. Because in the end, he needed somebody to decode the paperwork that he had. So, but the good part is, the man had knowledge to offer the boy. And maybe that's God's purpose. That's Allah. I don't think it's sad, Lottie. I think the boy got what he needed. The man, maybe not so much. But the man is guaranteed to meet up with somebody who is he going to tell the same stories to. But he's not going to get the answers that he wants because he's not doing it for the right reasons. He's selfish. the boy is looking at the soul of the world and understanding the languages of the soul of the world. The old man, even though he taught him that, isn't really doing his part. You know? It's almost like, I'll give you another example. You have a mom, right? This is a true story with me. You have a mom, and she teaches you the difference between right and wrong. And you're raised a certain type of way with your morals because of your mom, right? And now your mom's like 70. And she don't give a shit about nothing anymore. But you don't know this. You're still under the impression that you're being raised by way of how she taught you. And you all go out to a restaurant one day. And you literally, this is a true story, guys. You literally watch your mom take Sweet and Low and put it in her purse. And you look at your mom and you say, did something happen? Wait, are you? And seriously, it's a table full of family members. And you're like, the what? Why are we taking the Sweet and Low, Mom? And she goes, because I need them. And she's dead serious. And I go, Mom, we can buy Sweet and Low. She hears that for nothing. Nothing. That's mute in her ear, right? She went deaf all of a sudden. She picks up the porcelain container that's holding a Sweet and Low, and then she says, I like the container, and proceeds to put it in her purse. And you sit back and you go, oh my God, who is this woman? Why is this happening? And everybody at the table is now on the floor because they know how serious she is, and they know how mortified I am, and they are dying because she's an elder, so nobody's going to challenge this. And they're almost going, this is going to be comedy because Tracey wants to challenge this. And I'm like, you're supposed to challenge immoral behavior, whether it's your mother or not. It's supposed to be challenged. So I go, Mom, take the porcelain container out of your purse. And when I tell you, she held on to that purse like, dear God, got up from that table and went in the car. And that was her new thing. Her new thing was to go to restaurants and steal Sweet and Low. And if she could get away with stealing the porcelain, that wasn't the most important thing. I felt like she stole the porcelain because she was like, not only am I taking the Sweet and Low, Tracey, I'm taking the porcelain container too. And I'm like mortified, right? That's what that is, right? And the old man, has all this knowledge that he had given to this little boy. Everything by Allah. Allah said to the old man, teach the little boy. Allah already knew he was a selfish old man, inconsiderate, impossible, thick-headed. But Allah said, teach the boy. He's the gem. He's the elixir. He's the philosopher's stone. Boom. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you. That was good in the end. I was so worried I wouldn't get to a place I needed to be to. I was like, God, I'm all alone here. I'm without Melissa. Will I understand the book without Melissa? So I hope I made an impact. I hope that we understood that process that we just learned about from page, where is it? We got through a lot. I think we did about 10 pages, 77 to 86. Woo. All right. I'm going to get ready for my day's work. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And tune in tonight. I'm going to talk about the first episode or second episode. First episode and or the second episode of The Sandman. It's a really, really good story that has a lot of metaphysical inferences. It's so good. Thank you, Lottie. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, enjoy your Saturday. If you want to tune in, I'm probably going to do it around 6 o'clock. So tune in later and just listen to the Sandman recap. Love you guys. Take it easy. Bye.
Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown